Hello everyone, welcome back to the Country Living Homestead. I'm Shelby. So today I'm going to be planting my seedlings into soil blocks, so stay tuned. Okay, first things first is I have to get the potting mix in here and get it wet down. I'm not using anything fancy, just Burpee's organic potting mix. So I'm gonna put a good bit in this tote and then wet it down with some water. You want this mixture to be pretty wet for soil blocks. Now I'm just gonna give it a stir to get it evenly wet. And once I'm done doing that, I will see if it needs a little bit more water. Okay, we do still have a few dry spots. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. Now I'm just gonna let this sit and soak up the water for a few minutes. All right, the soil mixture is nice and moist. So I'm going to go ahead and pack my soil blocker nice and tight with the soil. I usually do that until I start seeing a little bit come up at the top. Then just come over here to my cookie sheet and press it out. And there we go. And that's what the soil blocks are going to look like. Now, if you don't have it wet enough, or you're not packing it in there tight enough, and you'll see some water coming out over the top of this. That is normal if you have the soil wet enough. Kind of looks like a pan of brownies. All right, I think I can fit one more on that pan. So let's give it a try. And there we go. And I will just be planting my seedlings in these little holes. So for just a few minutes work, I have all of these. All right, so what I'm going to be transplanting today is holy basil. You can see they look fantastic. I started a bunch of these seedlings just in the solo cup, and now it's time to pot them up or plant them up into the soil blocks. And also Genovese basil. They look amazing too. Time to get planting. Just gonna kind of tickle these apart, and what I'm really looking for are the strongest seedlings. So I'm not going to plant this one, but I am going to plant this one. I'm sure you can see the difference. Just gonna sprinkle a little bit of soil on top of there. There we go. right, I've got all the holy basil, also known as Tulsi, planted. And now the rest of these blocks will be used for the Genovese. You can see how tiny these little seedlings are, but check out the roots on these. This is Genovese basil. The roots are insane. All right, the basil's all planted up and ready to go back under the grow light. And another little trick with the soil blocker is to push forward, get some soil in there, and then press it into the back wall of your tote. And that will compact it in there a little bit better. Soil blocking sometimes gets a bad rap, but I find that that's normally because people have difficulty making the actual blocks. And I think that's probably because of two reasons. One, the mixture that you're using is not wet enough, or two, you haven't compacted it tightly enough into the soil blocker. Now, they do have some very clear advantages. One of my favorite things about soil blocking is that it eliminates the need to purchase pots or additional items to put your seedlings in. So you're creating zero waste and saving money. And another great thing about soil blocking is that since there is no bottom for your seedlings to hit, they're not going to get root bound in a soil block like they would in a container. So just two great reasons to consider soil blocking.